record live on Instagram. Make sure I am live on everywhere I go. So if you're new to this page, if you're not familiar with me, and if you've never had a conversation with me, I am Stacy, and I am a nonprofit consulting. Oh, hi. What's your name? The Queen of Digital Marketing. Nice to see you. I am Stacy. I'm a nonprofit consultant and I help small to mid-sized nonprofit organizations grow their impact and revenue generation potential in 6 months through strategic planning and capacity building. So I say this to share that I am a person that is very strategic and intentional about the things I do in my personal and professional life. So as a consultant, I am very direct. So if you're someone who does not like their edges snatched or being told what you're messing up on, definitely let this is not the space for you, but I am a very direct person. So if you have a question and you want to know how it is, definitely feel free to let me know. Now, today I'm going to talk about something that's been kind of like heavy on my heart. And I don't really talk about it because I'm really personal about some topics. But this one I feel like is necessary, especially in the nonprofit space, because I'm finding that a lot of nonprofit organizations are going through this, and a lot of people in the public health field. I'm also a public health professional, so these are things Chandra, I think. So, hi, ladies, how are you? So, I want to make sure that I talk about this because one thing that I'm noticing is that we say we want change as people, as a collective, but when it comes down to it, most of us are not willing to endure this discomfort, the discomfort that's necessary to make it happen. Now, what I mean by that is that I don't know about you. I don't know if you remember the Target boycott for a day, right? I don't know who does that anymore, but we're going to have a conversation about the level of discomfort that people are not willing to go through, that organizations are not willing to go through, and also certain things that I see happening that I'm calling people out on. And it's not sitting well with them, and that's okay because I am not here to coddle folks. I'm not here to coddle leaders because if you're a leader, you do not need somebody to coddle you and baby you about what you need to be doing because you understand that your role is bigger than just a title. Okay. So we're going to have a real conversation about the power we hold as consumers and citizens, and also nonprofit organizations have, leaders have. So why it's time to start wielding it effectively, right? We're always quick to complain about rising prices. Oh, eggs are $12, our eggs are $7. Corporate greed and things like that, about organizations that are slashing DEI and how you're not going to give your 2 cents to them like for a day. That's the most insane thing I've ever heard. And policies that don't serve us. There are a lot of these things happening in the current climate that we're living in, but despite our frustration, for some reason we continue to engage in the very behaviors that empower these systems. Now, what I mean by that, a lot of times, a lot of us are complaining about these things, but we don't realize that we relinquished our power and empowered these systems to treat us the way that we don't want to be treated. We're grumbling about the cost of living, but still line up for the latest gadgets and overpriced coffees in fast fashion halls. There's a reason the prices are increasing. It's because they keep getting our dollars and we're not willing to part with these comforts, and they know that. We're not willing to be uncomfortable, and they know that. And that's why sometimes I have to call it out because it is hypocritical to say that certain things are an issue, but we're not willing as individuals to get uncomfortable to deal with these issues or make sure that we are addressing them head on. Advocacy is one thing, but we also have to be willing, like, we surrendered our collective power because of these comforts. And that's something that a lot of people don't want to talk about because as a collective, we're weak, and the systems that we are complaining about know that. There's a there's something I said in one of my posts earlier. It's like we are getting hit back to back to back with certain changes and certain things and certain like a lot of things that bring people down and keep them in the rut. There's a reason because when they hit you with these things continuously, you're going to be in a state of such of emotional dysregulation that you're not going to act. And there's a reason I'm always calling out people because as adults, you have to learn to regulate your emotions so you'll be capable of leading effectively. And the same goes for nonprofit leaders because nonprofit industry, they've taken a huge hit. A lot of grants, of federal grants have been revoked, being pulled, and everything, right? And that's really hurting nonprofit organizations. So when I call you out, there's a reason I'm calling you out because you need to learn to regulate your emotions as a leader so you can take effective action and intentional action that's going to take you to the next level, you as a person, and also enable you to lead in a way that the people that are your team, your staff, people that you're leading, they can see that you got your act together and you're able to move forward and they follow. Because the leader's job is to be able to pass adversity, right? To like break through certain things and take actions regardless and make decisions to continue following your mission and achieving your mission. But if you're not able to do that because you're in a state, you're in a frozen state, what's going to happen is people that are following you as a leader are going to experience the same thing. They're going to be frozen and stuck in time, right? So one thing I want you to keep in mind, last year, fourth quarter of 2024, personal consumption expenditures accounted merely for like 68% of the US GDP. That means our spending habits were driving more than two-thirds of the nation's economic activity, right? Yet, despite this influence, this big influence, we often feel powerless against corporate decisions and government policies. Why is that? Why is that? Because then I want to speak about that because sometimes it's like I see people feeling like they're disempowered, but the thing is, 68% of the US GDP came from consumption expenditures. So that came from the money in our pockets that we're spending. Like the problem is that we're not willing to put our foot where our mouth is, where we're all talk, we're complaining, we're talking all these things, but we're not considering that we need to act as well. Because then if we don't like these things, we need to do something about it. I don't like the way you're moving. I don't like these policies you're doing. Okay, right. So you're saying that you're not funding XYZ anymore. I'm not okay with that. Guess what? You have local officials that are supposed to be representing you. You have Congress, you have all these things. Nonprofits need to start like learning how to do some advocacy work and educating people on how to defend certain rights, certain policies, or if there's a policy that's detrimental to a certain community, what can you do about it? Now, these are the actions that matter because just saying, oh, we're going to make sure you have the space for this. Yes, there's a space. Like there's some nonprofits that provide the support that people need for mental health support and stuff like that. But also we need to pick ourselves up and be able to take action so these people can stop messing with our faces. Okay. And that's where I stand because at one point, yeah, I'm going to cry to my therapist, right? I'm going to cry to my, like my sister, my coach or whatever. But when push comes to shove, I need to start taking action because I can't stay in my bed for too long and cry for too long because I got two kids. I got two kids to take care of, so I need to start taking action. And that's where I find our society is going. We're in situations where we commiserate, right? We like sharing each other's traumas and problems that we're not taking actions that actually make a difference, right? We're not showing up to these council meetings or these meetings and making sure that they understand they're not getting away with it. We're going to do something about it. Like there are some articles that I've been reading. I just have to shut I don't watch the news anymore, but for some reason, Facebook has been showing me news that like about 47 sharing that he is going to run for a third term. That just made me chuckle But a lot of people are just like up in the comments, like going off and stuff like that. The comments is not where it is. The comments are not going to make a change. And I need people to start realizing that. And I need to, like, especially I work with nonprofit organizations. I need nonprofit organizations that are going through this to take actions that actually make them like not have to deal with this hot mess all the time. Like start diversifying your revenue, start working on your financial sustainability, start working on educating your audience and people you serve on how to advocate for certain policies that will prevent this mess from happening again, right? Because disempowered people cannot empower people. And we're in a situation where a lot of these nonprofit leaders, they don't realize that you're disempowered. You're losing a lot of power that you have by not having a plan and not knowing what to do, right? So I'm gonna need everybody to get up and start doing something. Like start calling your friends, like instead of, oh, we're going to strike. Like, how long are we gonna strike for? Is it a month? Because then we need to make sure they feel it, right? Like find out if there are stores or places, because the one thing with us, we overconsume, right? But to be able to make real change, you have to be able to make sacrifices. Sacrifices does not have to mean you're starving or anything like that, but you have to plan effectively. Like if I'm going to strike for 2 months, I need to make sure I have a connect, a farmer or something to get my supplies that I need, right? Like, but we don't think that way anymore because everybody's so separated, but don't realize there's a reason that all these things are happening. We've been separated for a reason. So nonprofits are not collaborating because they're all fighting for a dollar. Like they're separated. They're not collaborating or partnering with one another like they used to. Like I've met some funders that say that some projects were so good when they think about nonprofits and like the grant application process. But certain nonprofits didn't get it because their application would be stronger if they worked with XYZ organization, but didn't even know each other. So I don't know if you realize there's been this like everybody's been getting away from one another and distrusting each other and not realizing that that trend is it's what's leading to what we're going through. So unless there is a intentional um bringing each other like back to where we need to be, we're going to have to deal with these things. So while our spending is substantial, our strategic action has been lacking. And that's one thing that I am realizing and reading. And sometimes it's been going in my mind for quite some time. Literally, I had to take a nap and realize like how to formulate this, right? Another example I have, there are recent reports on consumer behavior like Lululemon. They're a major retailer. A lot of people know about Lululemon, right? They noted a decline in US sales and they were attributing it to consumers becoming more cautious with their spending like during economic uncertainties, which was indicating that when we choose to adjust our spending habits, corporations feel the impact, right? But the corporations we're complaining about don't feel the impact. There's a reason for that. One day is not going to do it. Okay. So the shifts that they're seeing, they're often reactive and short-lived. And that's the problem. There's been a lack of coordination to sustain any change. And that's the thing that I want nonprofits to realize as well. There's a lack of coordination and systems existing in the nonprofit space. You know, it's time that we start moving as a collective, as organizations, as individuals, beyond passive dissatisfaction and into organized strategic action. Staying home and kind of lamenting over the state of affairs, it's not going to change a thing. Yes, it affects us. It affects our loved ones. It's not. It really is, but just being sad about it is not going to change a thing. It's like telling me you're thirsty and telling me that you're gonna wait for me to bring you a glass of water and I don't come back in 1 hour, you're still sitting on the couch. You never got your water, right? 2 hours, you still didn't get up to get your water. 3 hours, same thing. A day went by. You still didn't get up and get your water because Stacy told you she was gonna get your glass of water. A week goes by, nothing. You still don't drink water because you were waiting on Stacy to go get you a glass of water. A month goes by, same thing. You're just sitting there and waiting. So it's the same thing that's happening here. People are just sitting stuck in a rut, right? Waiting for things to change, not realizing the change needs to happen within. They're the ones that need to take action. Organizations like your nonprofit needs to start taking action and making changes that are needed. Okay. So I need organizations and people like collectives to start channeling their frustration into advocacy, to start building partnerships with like-minded organizations, right? And mobilize around the issues that are affecting our communities. Because what this means, what you can do for that is attend local meetings, support grassroots initiatives. That's another thing, right? And yes, reevaluate your spending habits so they align with your values. Because if you're not able to do that, you're going to experience the same thing. Because the spending habits, it will affect the corporations if it's consistent. But a lot of people are not talking about that. Oh, yes, I'm not going to buy XYZ anymore. Wait, I'm not going to buy coffee anymore because I don't like Starbucks. I don't like pizza. I don't like this, right? But then in 2 months, we're like, oh my God, I'm craving XYZ. I'm gonna go get it. It's just, I need to treat myself. Okay. All right. People talking about, oh yeah, the Walmart family, they're too rich and stuff like that. But everybody goes shopping at Walmart because it's cheaper than the alternative. But not looking into where else they can go that has the same price. Target does match, but you don't want to go to Target, you don't want to go to Walmart. Start looking at your local farmers and start making deals, right? Because then everything is fixable if you're willing, right? So you have to look into that. Now, I don't know what else to tell you because that's where I stand. It's not easy, and I know that. I've been witnessing friends and family like actually grapple with challenges like immigration, like executive orders, especially I don't know if you remember the humanitarian parole and stuff like that, from Haiti, Venezuela, Cuba, and countries like that, right? And they're actually going through it in real time. And it's heartbreaking, right? But I've realized that sitting on my hands accomplishes nothing. It's it's action. That's the actual antidote to despair. Because if we stay in a state of despair continuously, it's nothing is going to change. Whether it's advocating for policy changes, these actions matter. Supporting affected individuals, these matter, or educating others in how or what actions they can take. That makes a difference because we all have a role to play. We all have a role to play if we really want to make changes that matter. So I'm going to challenge everyone, everyone watching this. I want you to reflect on how your nonprofit organization can advocate for the issues that are impacting your loved ones and your communities. I want you to identify organizations that resonate with your mission and collaborate with them. Remember, like real change is going to require sustained effort and a willingness to endure discomfort. And that's where a lot of people are not doing well. That's where a lot of people are failing. You have to have a willingness to endure discomfort, right? So the thing is, we can't just talk about it. We have to do something about it. We have to be about it. You have to stand on business when it comes to complaining about things because complaining is only going to do so much. So, what are you going to do about it? What sustained actions are you going to put in place? And are you willing to endure discomfort? Because a lot of people are not willing to. A lot of people are not willing to give up their Starbucks, but they will complain about how Starbucks is making money. You got to make a decision because you can't complain on one end and not do the work on the other end. Hey, Foster. Or Joven. No, it's Joven. Yeah. So you have to be willing to do the work. Like you have to figure out what you want and make it happen. And also, if you're here, hashtag live, let me know you're live. The more you engage, the more this algorithm does this thing, right? So hashtag live. And Monet and Ricky, yes. So you have to start taking actions that, hey, Foster. So you have to start making decisions that align with what you say. You can't just talk about it. Again, you got to be about it. Like start doing it. Because then I see a lot of people that are down, afraid of what's happening. Like, yes, it's frustrating, and not everybody can get a therapist. Not everybody has that support system, but have a good cry about it, have a good session, like, because then I know there's like the axe throwing places, there's the break furniture places, whatever it is, like, go somewhere and take your anger out, get your cry out, but you got to get up. You have to get up and do something about it. I don't know what you're going through. I know so many people that have lost their jobs just last week, right? Because of funding being pulled now for CDC, and there's some people in nonprofits, the same things are happening. It's happening all over, like it's happening to more than one person. And Monet said, speak up for those who can't speak for themselves. That's the other thing, right? Like the advocacy, it needs to happen more than we know. Like we have to be willing to speak up. And like I was saying earlier, just don't just say it, be about it, because the effort needs to be consistent. You need to be able to endure discomfort, because if we want to see change, because then the what we have right now, it didn't come easily. We have people in our past, like decades ago, that actually went through a lot to get us to where we are. They were able to go through a lot. Joshua, I'm like, oh my God, Jesus Christ, these children. But you have to be able to endure certain things to get the results you want. Close my door, please. To endure the results you want, okay? So for those of you in the nonprofit sector, if you're looking to build sustainable strategies and deepen your impact, consider joining our upcoming fundraising flow workshop. It's designed to equip you with the tools needed to navigate these challenges effectively. But this is one thing that I know I have in place to help nonprofits navigate this era. Hey, Sarah, how are you doing? To navigate this era that we're all experiencing. But I want you to keep in mind that sustained effort and willingness to endure discomfort is going to make a huge difference in this climate that we're in. And I may not talk a lot about it, but I see it, I feel it, I have people going through it. I choose not to stay in it. I choose not to remain in a place where I feel sad and angry all the time. I prefer taking actions that take me to a place where they don't affect me like they think they are. Because that's my personality. I'm not going to let anybody have any power over me. And that's where I want, and that's what I hope to see with the community that I'm in, with the collectives I'm part of, people coming together and realizing that they have more power than they think. And just last week, I saw the power of women coming together. Like, we were able to raise $60,000 in one night to give to nonprofits. That's insane. That's amazing, right? So we have to think about how just coming together can make more of a difference instead of just um, letting them get away with it. That's just my piece. But I think that's my 2 cents on that. And I know with cleaning, I got off track and didn't come as early as I should have. So thank you so much for joining me for this conversation. And I want you to say, I want to say, let's commit to not only seeking change, but actively creating it. Creating change that we want to see, because the power is in the hands of the people. It is a democracy. Okay. So if you have a nonprofit organization, think about different ways that you can help your communities advocate better and how you can be the leader of change in your community. If it's an individual, same thing, like speak up. Do something, find something to do, educate yourself, educate other people. But I want you to use your voice wisely and the tools that you have wisely. And that's all I have to say for today. I'm gonna go check why this child took his VR when he was off technology. So I'm gonna go now and talk to y'all soon. Bye.